Okay, welcome back, trainees and supervising appraisers. What we're going to look at today is a demonstration for the supervisors. So the trainees have created their checklist, they've signed them, they are now waiting for the supervisor to approve, to allocate the involvement, and to sign off and attach it to the report. So let's go ahead and sign in as a supervisor. I'm working within the trial database. Supervisor is password is test. Go ahead and click login, and this is the supervising appraisers homepage, if you'd call it that. So you have a few things. You have the new, the edit. These look familiar. These are exactly the same in the trainee side of things, because you can actually set up a checklist for a trainee as a supervisor. The sign, that's where checklists go that are waiting in a queue to be signed. And logs, I'll show you that in a little bit. Go ahead and click sign. So here are two checklists that trainee 1 have created and have signed that are waiting for your signature. They signed them, the signed date, the address, checklist ID, and the ID for the database. If you right click this, you can just view their checklist without doing anything. It's not going to sign it, you're just going to view it. You can see they signed it, trainee's name, license number, your signature's not there yet. But you can review what they've done. So if you don't want to sign something and want them to correct something before you apply your signature, this is the way to do it. But if you're confident your trainee has made that correct, you can right click it and click apply signature. What that's going to do is going to apply your signature to the checklist form. So you can click yes to view this PDF. Now this is the point, at least in our office, that the supervising appraiser will once again review it, make sure the signatures are there, and click the save button and save a copy to the work file. I won't do that for demonstrations, but this would be the area, or you can tell your appraiser trainee to go back in to view the PDF and have him or her save it to the work file and attach it to the file. Either or. So as soon as you close this out, it's automatically going to populate a level of involvement form. So this is where you will apply. This is specific to the actual experience log forms at this time. So there's a few buttons here where you can, if you're at a certain state of a relationship with that trainee that everything is typically all co-appraised, reviewed, and approved, or primary responsibility, you can click these buttons, and whatever's enabled is going to automatically populate with the button. Now, sometimes that's not always the case, but maybe primarily that is the case. So you can click all C's, and then maybe just come in here and edit what needs to be tweaked. On the left hand side, there's also a checkbox for residential and commercial. It defaults to commercial. Whether or not this appraisal report was a client or not is an option on the form, so there is also a checkbox for that, and that defaults to checked as well. So once this is all completed, the address is right, all the level of involvement is assigned, you click save and close. Now it's important to realize that we have created this based off of the checklist. So based on what the trainee has checkmarked correlates to these level of involvements. So there was no cost approach on the checklist, so in turn it is disabled. You can't even assign something that he or she has not even completed based off the checklist. The way we've done this creates consistency within the log forms on the flow of work based off of the checklist to the level of involvement. So it keeps it nice and uniform for the state. There's not going to be any type of, well, on this report you had a check mark on the experience log, and based off the checklist, you've done this multiple times on other reports and given it no level of involvement. How can that be? So that really takes all the air out of filling out these log forms. So go ahead and click Save and Close. By clicking the Save and Close button, this is when electronically you are signing off on that individual record. And in the database, it timestamps your signature for this specific record and applies the signature to the actual experience log forms whenever they print them. So go ahead and click Yes. It is out of your queue. You're done. One other demonstration I'm going to do for you is, let's go ahead and sign this other one. We're going to apply our signature to the checklist. We're going to view it. Okay, great. We'll save it to our work file, print it, whatever you need to do. Close out of it. Well, as a supervisor, you probably realize that sometimes you don't have an extra couple seconds to do this. What you can do is, if nothing has been selected, you can click Save and Close. And what that's going to do is, it notices that nothing has been filled out. So it's not going to create that log form yet. So maybe you're running out the door to an inspection and you just don't have time for this, but you need that checklist to be attached to a report that is going out today. So you can click Yes. Let's edit this later. Get it out the door with the appraisal report, but we'll fill out the experience log later. So click Yes. There's no unsigned checklist. You're good. Let's click the button again. You're going to see the same message. There's no unsigned checklist. Now what happens with that log, since you didn't fill out the log part while you were filling out the checklist part, that log is now within this Logs button. So here it is. It was probably actually this one. There's a few. Like I said, this is a trial database, so there's a lot of data in here that I'm always testing things, and actually all the trial users are also playing around testing out the functionality of the program. So nonetheless, there's 2 records in waiting for you to fill out the logs. So if you just right click it, click Edit, it brings up that exact form that you see whenever you're signing the checklist. And here we can go ahead and just check mark it, click Save. Yes, I agree that I'm signing off, and it's out of the log. And that is it. That is how you sign the checklists and also assign the level of involvement for the experience logs. Now, maybe you exited out too quick and you actually want to save that checklist to the work file. What you can do is click Edit, and since you're a supervisor, it's going to populate a list and it's going to say, who do you want to edit a checklist for? You're going to select the trainee that you want to view. Click OK. Now you're in the database in the files of that specific trainee. So you sign something, you click no, you don't want to view, no big deal. Just come in here, right click the file that you want to print. You can view the PDF because it is now signed on their side as well. They can view it, and you can print it and save it from here. And that is the conclusion of this demonstration. If you have any other questions, information, concerns, please email at info@appraisertraineemanager.com.